I cooked this entire meal this afternoon using my new Thermomix. This is my absolute favorite new kitchen appliance. Once you have a Thermomix, it is like having a professional chef in your kitchen. This thing performs over 20 functions. It acts like a food processor, blender, steamer, scale, cooker, and it guides you through your recipes. So let's get started here. Start chopping things up for our broccoli salad. So what I love about this thing is you can see that I'm measuring things as I go. I can weigh everything or put in the appropriate teaspoon measurements if that's what's called for. And then I can check off each ingredient as I add it into the carafe. And what I love about this is once you've checked something off, if you think you might have forgotten something, you can actually go back and it'll remember everything you put in for each step. So you never need to think that you're going to get lost in a recipe. Now we're just chopping everything up and that's it. I've got broccoli salad and let me tell you, it is delicious. So now I'm going to move on and make some keto cheese dinner rolls. These actually turned out pretty good, although I have to be honest, they did not look exactly like the picture. What I love about this recipe or the Thermomix, is that a lot of times it'll have you make your own flour. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm making the gluten-free flour just by adding some almonds and unsweetened coconut flakes. And for many recipes, you'll see that it'll actually have you making a flour before you start baking. So that's it. Now I just put the lid on and it's going to do a high-speed grinding for 10 seconds. And now I have an almond flour, a gluten-free flour for my keto rolls. So you can take a look at that here. And then we do set that aside into a bowl. It tells you step by step what to do. Now this is actually made with some mozzarella and cream cheese. And so I put those in there and then look at what it does. It heats it up very gently. You can see the light changing color. See how it's yellow and before it was green? That's letting you know it was a little bit warm. And there you go. That's the mozzarella and the cream cheese that have now been melted. And then we just simply add the flour that we created in our first step. And then we'll add some baking powder and some salt and a few other ingredients. And the blade on the bottom will go at a nice slow speed. See how the light is glowing green? So it lets you know it is not on a heating mode, but it is mixing. And then there you go. I have a dough that's partially mixed, so it lets you know to go ahead and scrape down the sides and to mix it again for another 10 seconds. And so there you go. And now it's letting me know I need to wrap it up into some cling wrap and put this in the refrigerator for half an hour. So that's going to chill. And while that's chilling, we're going to make our salmon and basmati rice with dill cream sauce. Oh my gosh, this is so delicious. I have never made a sauce for my salmon before. I usually just bake it. Truthfully, I have never been much into making sauces and gravies for a lot of things. And this makes it so easy. It really tastes like I am eating at a restaurant. So what I love about this is the first step, I had to weigh out and measure my rice, and then it had me take the steamer basket out, wash the rice, and then put it back in. Now there is some water and olive oil in there, along with some salt, and now it's going to be steaming the rice while I put the Varoma basket on top, and I'm seasoning my salmon. You don't have to put parchment paper underneath your fish if you don't want to, but I preferred to do that just because I really didn't want the fish droppings going down into my rice. And so now I have to put the lid on, and then we're going to put the Varoma basket in place, and then we'll put the lid on top. And now that's going to steam for about 20 minutes. And in that 20 minutes, the rice is cooking underneath. You do have to be careful taking the lid off. And the fish is done. It's steamed. I actually went ahead and cooked up some more fish. So for this recipe, I took the rice out, and then I repeated that step just left the water in, and I added the rest of my salmon because I had a big fillet which I cut into pieces. So here I'm removing the rice. As you can see, the spatula that comes with this has little hooks so you can pull out the steamer basket. And then I just repeated that whole steaming section again, and I made another Veroma basket full of salmon. And now we are letting the fish and the rice cool, and we're making the sauce, the dill sauce. Oh my gosh, it was delicious. So I love this. You can see now I'm chopping up some onions, and then we're going to scrape down the sides, and then it'll chop again, I believe. And next it's going to cook. So now it's cooking the first part of the ingredients, and now we add everything else. This was made with heavy cream and dill and tomato paste and a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it. Oh my gosh, it was just delicious. And so it tells you step by step, you add everything in. There's the dill, and then we just put in a little bit of thickener and put the lid on, and it's going to cook for 5 minutes, and the blade goes nice and slow so that nothing burns on the bottom. And now there's our sauce. Oh my gosh, really, really amazing. And now we're going to make some butternut squash and ginger soup. I actually still have butternut squash from my garden. I was able to keep it down in my cool basement. So it's been really wonderful being able to have garden fresh butternut squash soup all winter. And this particular soup is really simple and really delicious. It is actually vegan, and in the soup, it is made with initially I'm just sauteing some ginger in the bottom of the carafe. And then what I love about this is actually it's made with a little bit of potato, a small little bit of white potato, and also some cashews, and then just filtered water. And it's surprisingly good. So there is the squash, and you can see on the bottom how it's measuring. It was 14 ounces of squash, and so every time something is done, that little green line goes across and it checks itself off. If you are not going to check it off, it'll do it for you. So now I'm just adding in all of the ingredients. There's the cashews are going in. And you can see how the light on the bottom of the carafe is red. That's because it was just in a heating mode, and the bottom of it is still hot. So it really is a nice visual cue, especially because a lot of people can have their kids help cook. And it's really nice to just know whether or not this device is hot at the moment. And so now we're just going to let this cook for about 15 minutes, and once it's done, it's going to blend it. High-powered blender again. It's pretty impressive. Look at all the steam coming out of the top. There is a little cap that you put on there to protect you from all that steam coming out, but I left it off so you could see how hot it gets. And there we go. Delicious butternut squash soup. So professional meal, hardly any work, highly recommend.